Hello everyone. It has been a long time. What has been happening with me? So this morning I went to my regular Saturday morning Weight Watchers group, which I adore. And we're talking about reflections and goals and what's coming up for 2018. And I really got to thinking that I haven't actually, other than weight loss goals for 2017, I never really set any new ones. So I feel like I've been struggling recently, hence being back. So I'm still at goal weight by 0.2 pounds, but I'll take it. But I'm just like emotionally struggling with food and falling back into those habits. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about why that is and about why I need to be more active on this channel making weekly vlogs. So let's go back a few months here. So I reached goal weight in beginning of July, and then I started working for Weight Watchers in August. Now I quit Weight Watchers 2 weeks ago, which was a very hard decision. I adore the program. I loved all my colleagues. I loved leading groups. It was fun, but it was a lot of extra work. So it was a very difficult decision because I did really enjoy it. But with working full time, and then my two little guys, Dax who's 5 and Finn who's 3, my own mental well-being, and trying to somehow in there interact with my husband here and there was quite difficult. So I realized something had to give, and that was working for Weight Watchers. Like I said, can't say anything bad about it, other than it was just too much on top of everything else. So if I'm ever in a position, maybe when the kids are older, maybe when I've been at Lifetime a bit longer, that I would go back and work for them, absolutely in a heartbeat. Just wasn't the right time right now. So all that being said, I decided that it was time to go back just as a member, just enjoy being on that side of the room again, kind of sitting and listening and sharing as a member, which has been really helpful to get back on track. So what I was finding I was doing, and if any of you are at Target or Lifetime, if you're Weight Watchers, Slimming World, whatever you're doing, when you've got to where you've been striving to get to, is it just me, or is this bit like the hardest bit? And I know we hear that all the time, and I remember being on the way down and people saying like, oh, it's harder to keep it off than it is to lose it. And I just kept like, is it though? Seriously? Because isn't everything better when you're thinner? And yes, things are better when you're thinner, which is a horrible thing to say because I'm very body positive. But for me, life is better now. I'm not carrying around extra weight on my body. But trying to keep it off my body is becoming a bit burdensome. So for example, I would do the thing where like 3 days of the week, everything is great and on plan. And then the next 4 days of the week is a slow slip back. And then back into old eating habits by that 7th day, and then starting again usually on a Monday. And I'm like, wow, I've lived this roller coaster far too long to keep doing this. And I found, especially working for Weight Watchers, being so immersed in the program, not just doing it, but talking to people about it for hours each week, it's almost like the last thing you want to do when you get home. So I would come home and either eat nothing, which isn't great, then be starving, and then binge, and then restrict, and then binge, and then it was taking a toll on my body. Finding time to exercise was very difficult. That would fall down my list. As well, and then, you know, like I say, just not really being with my family as much as I need to be, for me, for my satisfaction. So all that being said, when I did make the very hard decision to quit working for them and go back to being a member, I've really found that reset just exactly what I needed. So I am, and also I can talk more freely about it now. You'll notice my video stopped when I started working for them. And that is purely because, you know, they do want you to be careful if you work for them and what you say on social media, which is completely understandable. It just meant I was kind of scared to make a video, so I just kind of got out of the habit. But I'm back because this is going to be one of my 2018 goals. So I'm not in weight loss zone anymore. I'm in weight maintenance, which means my goals have to be a wee bit different. So one of my goals is to get these videos up and running once a week for 2018. And I realized like only like 3 people subscribe to me. So really, it is literally just for me, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. If people want to come join the weight maintenance journey, that's great. If not, that's okay too. This is just for me to truly track and vlog and just keep my weekly reflections going along. So yeah, I can look back still, because it's all still part of the journey, right? And I think that's something I didn't really account for much before, was that on the way down is fun and like weight loss is like that sole focus, but now I'm there, it's very hard to stay living in this house without changing things up. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm not sure what else I'll do. That was just one thing that came to me this morning in group, was that I need some goals here. And I don't want these goals that are like, oh, run a marathon and blah, 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 because that's a lot of pressure on exercise. So I don't know what else I'll think of, but this is definitely number 1 on the list, is being back as a member of Weight Watchers, enjoying the program, and just kind of living my life and enjoying my life without Weight Watchers being so immersed so much in it that I can't actually do it. So yes, any of my UK watchers, I think the program there is called Flex. Over here in Canada, it's called Freestyle, and I am just loving it. There's a few more YouTubers whose names I've completely forgotten. Sorry, I'll try and remember them for next week. Who are doing the Weight Watchers Flex program in the UK. It's exactly the same program, just called Freestyle here. I'm just loving it. I'm loving not having to track every single thing. My meals have become a lot more stable. So for example, it's not just like, what am I going to eat and how many points? It's like I know the things that are 0 points. So morning is usually Greek yogurt, bit of fruit, drop of honey, drop of vanilla extract, something like that. Keep it at either 1 or 2 points. Or it's egg and like chicken bacon or turkey bacon and something like that. Again, 1 or 2 points. Sets me up till lunchtime. Right now it's lunchtime and I have got a jacket potato in the oven, and I have that with some prawns, a little bit of mayo in there, and some salad. So again, what's that, 5 or 6 points? And then dinners kind of gives me a bit more leeway to have a bit more variety with dinner as well. So that's really kind of set me up, like 2 stable meals a day that I know are going to be a few points each. So by the time I get to evening, and also, not having to eat all my points is great, because I think before there was a pressure just to eat points, whereas now you don't have to eat them, and in fact you get to roll over points if you don't eat them, which I just think is the best idea, because there are days where I eat mainly 0 point foods, and I'm like I've eaten 10 points that day, and it's like I don't have to feel pressure to try and stuff the rest of the points in somehow. So yeah, I'm loving it, enjoying it. I don't know how you're finding it, wherever you are. If you're doing Freestyle Flex, like I say, exactly the same thing. I don't know how you're finding it, but I know for me it's been very much like it's freestyle, freeing, like not having to track as much, knowing that I have more weeklies if I'm, less pointy through the day, and just knowing that if I do go over with some foods, that's okay, because that's what weight maintenance is. So if I have gone over, like Christmas has just come and gone. Ooh, how was your Christmas? I hope it was fantastic. Last year, I was just sharing this in group earlier. Last year, I hardly ate a darn thing on Christmas, and I hated every second of it. I felt so deprived. And I realised at that point that for me, Christmas is about the food. It's about the little snacky bits and the little treaty bits and the tins of roses and the cheeses and crackers. So this year I just decided 2 days, no tracking, just go to town. Because last year I was pretty miserable around Christmas because I felt so deprived, and that's when these things feel like diets, and then there's a lot of pressure. So this year I was like, just take 2 days, go for it, and boy, I went for it. Don't know how much I'm up. I'm going to weigh in next week, give myself a week to get back on track. But it was well worth it. I know I was watching Katie Jane SW, Jane SW, Debbie on Slimming World, and they had all their different tricks to stay on track over Christmas, stay on plan. And I watched all their videos and I carefully considered their suggestions, and then I thought, F it, and just went for it for 2 days, which is great for those 2 days. Getting back on track is a bit harder than I expected. That's taken me like 3 days to fully get back into the mindset. And also you just feel like crap. And all those spots, and you can see all these spots just because I ate junk. Like I said, it was beautiful for those 2 days, but after that, although I wouldn't even say it was that nice for those 2 days, because you just go to bed feeling like heavy and gross. So while it was in my mouth, it was fantastic, but any time after that, it wasn't as fun. Anyway, now I'm waffling because why not? So on that note, before I waffle any further, I'm going to go get my lunch out the oven, and I'm going to sit here and catch up on EastEnders, and I'm going to figure out another 2 goals to do in 2018. So one is definitely vlogging every week, and then my other 2, I'm going to think about what's going to be something I want to work towards but isn't going to stress me out. So any suggestions that you may have, or whatever your goals are, let me know. Comments down below. Yeah, so I will see you next week. Bye bye.